one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Well, wait just a minute before you start, okay? Where do you want to go with this? Like, I mean, like, we need to. What are our topics? Because we could go in a lot of things. I'm in a terrible mood right now.
I'd like to keep this in, actually, just because I'm already recording.
Yeah.
And that's just a great line. I'm in a terrible mood.
I feel like shit right now, so.
Well, I do too, but it's fine. We can push through it because the mind controls reality. The mind is what gives us reality. And what we're going to do is we're going to shift our mind, our energy to lock onto a good reality.
Yeah. Yeah, the reality that my mind has been giving me recently has been terrible.
You gotta change it. You gotta
change. You're just not
align
manifesting right.
That's
You're
right.
not
Align your chakras, buddy.
I don't believe in that.
No,
but
that's because your reality is so shitty right now.
No, it's not that terrible. I have a lot of stuff to be thankful for.
Oh, absolutely. It's a beautiful house. You have a beautiful wife, and there's a crazy animal on your couch over there that's disturbing.
Crazy animal in the room over there.
I think it would suck the soul out of me if I let it get too close.
No.
Okay, are you sitting up like that, buddy?
Yeah, you think we should?
No, you can't.
Or, well, I mean... Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Was she asleep? Or
No, he just...
I think he was, dude. I think he was meditating and you knocked him off. I'm just going to back this camera up. Or actually, I'm just going to tilt it up. Perfect. Look at that. You look great.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, as far as topics go... Okay, I look good too. As far as topics go, well, I will say one thing. I did notice that if you take the mic and you drop it like that...
you make a noise.
I see a big thing. So I know it's going to be moving around and everything, which is good, but I don't know. Just try to be aware of that.
Yeah.
I don't know how disruptive it's going to be. I'm going to do a quick intro.
Yeah.
We can just chit chat and then we can see where things go. Obviously, you have some things on your mind that you want to bring up. You have two cats? Okay. Well, they're fucking and back there. And
yeah, they're going nuts.
I don't have any topics in general off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could go into some of the alien stuff right now. I think it's...
Just off the back.
Well, I mean, we don't have to right off the bat.
Okay.
But I think
We
it's
can
on the minds of a lot of people.
Okay,
right
we
now.
can definitely get into that. Yeah. Okay. I need to change my camera a little bit.
I want mine to stay in black and white like this so that someday when I'm dead, they'll be like, this was the last little...
It's not in black and white.
Oh, it's not?
No.
It looks black and white.
Okay.
Yours is way more colorful looking.
Yep. I don't know why.
Change yours to black and white.
Yours isn't black and white.
No, it's not.
No.
It's probably just the cameras.
I think it's a different type. Mine's just more blue for some reason. Are you leaning back like that?
I'm going to lean all over the place.
All right. Okay, I'm just going to... It doesn't matter. Okay.
I can. I mean, but it may be hard for me to sit like this for 2 hours.
That's true. Don't worry about it. One of the things that I saw... So, there's this guy... Rupert something. Have you ever seen the documentary Collapse? Okay, I'm gonna look it up for you. It's one of my favorite documentaries. It's like 2010 or something, so it's older. Yeah. But they sat down with this LAPD cop to talk about the CIA running drugs back in the day around Los Angeles to make money for the CIA programs, and they were arrested. They had like Rick Ross. Rick Ross, who's been on Joe Rogan, talked about like he was one of the main high guys that sold it, and he was working directly with CIA people.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, they sit down with this guy, Rupert, and he just starts going off the wall about how society is going to collapse. Yeah, the oil's running out.
Well, I think at that point, I think we have... I legitimately do think that we have like 15, 20 years max left.
So
if that.
I think MIT said that they did a study that predicted 2030 would be the last year, would be like the year that it all collapses.
We're shutting down.
2030 for whatever reason. I don't know. But anyway, so they sit down with him. He starts talking about the world collapsing. So it's a great documentary. He ends up on Joe Rogan a few times, but one time in particular, I remember they go through like the whole podcast. It's a great podcast. At the very end, he starts getting into spirituality and stuff. And he says something like, yeah, I can't be touched because I got that fox magic. And Joe's like, whoa, wait, what? Fox magic? And so now, because I'm into foxes because they're so cool, I was like, I got to find that clip.
Yeah.
So there's a torrent online that has every single one of Joe Rogan's podcasts, because when he switched from YouTube to Spotify, not every episode came over. Like when that whole thing went down. Exactly. So Milo, he didn't make it, and a bunch of others didn't make it. Well, Rupert's wasn't one either. Michael Rupert's his name. Anyway, so I went to that torrent and was looking for Michael Rupert, and I could not believe. I bet you the first 500 podcasts with Joe Rogan are literally Duncan Trussell, Eddie Bravo, Red Band, and every 5 is like a scientist or an author.
Wow, so it was just kind of more like Joe Smo.
Yes, and it gave me so much confidence, and it gave me so much.
We all have to start somewhere.
It gave me so much motivation to be like, he didn't give a shit that. Because I always worry about guests. I'm like, oh, Casey's back on. I love podcasting with Casey, so I'm always excited. But I think about my guests, or I think about my listeners, and I'm like, man, do they want to hear another round with Casey or another round with Ryan? Ryan Mossberg. You
both are really eccentric, interesting people that always have something different going on, and I think that makes a big difference. If you were just stuck in a loop, always doing the same things, never new interests, really. I mean, what we've talked about, we almost have to curb our enthusiasm for interests and hobbies and things like that because we can't fund them.
We can't fund them.
And we don't have the time.
Well, it usually falls into 3 categories. We can't fund them, we don't have the space for them, or we don't have the time for them.
Yeah,
it falls into one of those.
Space is a big one.
Space
for me
is a
right
big
now.
one. That's one reason why. All right, welcome back to the SciFi And Friends podcast. You're probably thinking, what in the world's going on? It looks different. Well, it is different because I moved out of my studio. I ruminated many hours thinking about what I should do with this podcast. The studio, while it was a good price, it was digging into my finances, and funny enough, you guys think I make a ton of money doing this. I don't. I spend a ton of money doing this. And so
passion project.
It's a passion, really. It's fun. I love talking to people. I wanted to make money someday, but it hasn't. So what I did was I moved out of the studio, and what I decided to do is focus more on remote podcasts. So I have Riverside. It's a program that you can. It's basically like a Zoom podcast. I think it's really nice. And so I have that. So now anyone in the world can hop on. It has HD quality video, HD sound, and I just played God of War Ragnarok. I loved it. I was blown away by it. First thing I did was hop online, do a ton of research. Some of the people that worked on it, have Twitter followings of less than 100,000. I guarantee if I reached out, I could get them on the podcast.
Absolutely.
So that's how I shifted. I shifted more towards finding people like that were outside my bubble of Joplin, Missouri. But I also have the capacity to do what I'm doing right now. I'm at my best friend Tucker Taylor's house. I have a Zoom H6, 2 mics, 2 cameras, and I'm going to start doing more of these where I go to people rather than have a studio where people come to me. And so it's a whole new season. It's a whole new way of doing this podcast. So please welcome Tucker Taylor.
Happy to have you here, Colton.
I appreciate you having me. This is a beautiful home. You have a beautiful wife. She's so lovely.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. Very, very lucky.
Yes, and she makes you a better man.
Yeah.
That is, you are one of the few people who I look at, I'm like, yes, you two are supposed to be together.
It's funny you say that. Literally today, I was over at work, and I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. I've been barbering for 13 years, and I get burnout sometimes. And today I was just kind of having one of those days.
13 years?
13 years, 12,
Wow.
13, something like that.
Wow.
It's been a long time.
Wow.
But anyway, and I was just having one of those days, a lot going on in life right now. And I thought to myself, I was like, if it was not for my wife, I would be leaving. I would be packing up my stuff and I would leave. And wow. The romance of that just sounds amazing to me. The reality of it is not as amazing. I know at first I'd be very excited, but a life like that is just, it's unstable. That's the issue. It's unstable.
It's funny you bring that up because as I was waiting for you to text me that you're home, I was, messing around the house, just trying not to get too deep into something, just moseying around. And I was like, man, when was the last time Tucker was on? The last time you were on the podcast, you remember what you were doing?
Getting ready to go on the shark journey.
Yeah, you were getting ready
to... You guys don't mind my hairless cat. He's gonna
This show will have pussy in it. No, you were getting ready to move to Florida.
Yeah.
And you wore sunglasses the whole time.
Heck yeah. I was getting ready for that sun, baby.
And you were I think we had to cut the podcast short because you were jonesing for a cigarette so bad. Yeah. And you didn't know you could smoke in my studio, but it's okay. It's fine. But yes, while that instability, there is something to say about like chaos and...
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't
serendipity.
regret that. I mean, that was a great trip.
Yeah.
That was a great, 4-month span of my life. I learned so much. I grew from that experience. Now I can say I somewhat know what it's like to live on the ocean and just be, at any point in time, be able to drive for literally 3 minutes and be at the beach, in a nice beach at that.
And eating shark every night.
Yeah.
Did you eat them?
Funny enough, down there I never did eat any shark, but
You're not supposed to, right?
Yeah, you can.
Because of the mercury.
It just depends. Well, okay, the mercury. Well, every saltwater fish has mercury in it. Every one of them.
But sharks have the most because they eat the other fish.
Barracudas have super, super high mercury content. Actually,
do you know? Sorry.
Well, a crazy story about that. We used barracuda for shark bait a lot down there. That was like one of the...
They can smell the mercury.
Yeah, the premier baits. And I remember, like, at the end of the night, we'd usually shut it down about 1.
Someone knocked.
Oh, somebody knocked.
Come in.
Wait just a minute.
It's probably...
Let me
Did you
get
order
this real quick. Let me get this.
Okay, so I'm just gonna keep talking. So, so I moved out of the studio. I'm looking to do more remote podcasts. I guess I said all this already. He's getting his monthly subscription to the Blue Pill. Gotcha. God dang, straight from Hong Kong, huh?
Yeah. China box.
China box. Last time I had a China box was...
A China box.
Was January 2020. And like all the COVID talk was going on. I ordered something off Alibaba and it showed up. And I was like, I kept it outside for like 3 days. I was spraying it with Clorox.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the whole world shut down. So
yeah, that was straight. But anyway, the barracuda. So we'd shut it down usually about like 1 or 1:30 in the morning.
What? What do you mean?
Yeah.
You fish at night?
Yeah.
Oh.
We usually would put the baits out. So this barracuda, this was the head section. This barracuda, we'd paddled it out there. And then, usually around like 6 o'clock is when we paddle baits out. So it's going to get dark within an hour or two. Because, it takes a while for that scent to travel through the water and down the currents and everything to reach a shark. And, but anyway, sometimes they wouldn't get hit. And so at the end of the evening, we'd reel everything in. So this barracuda head, we'd reeled it in and it was sitting over there, kind of on a dark area of the pier. And I looked over and I was like, that thing's stinking glowing. Yeah. And there was so much mercury in it because mercury will glow.
Oh my God.
And the inside of the mouth of that barracuda, because it was kind of open, it had been in the water for hours. It was kind of open and you could see, you could actually see the mercury content in the mouth.
That's not good.
Crazy, right?
My grandpa goes to Canada. Well, he did. I think he went on his last trip, unfortunately. Just getting too old to go to Canada to fish for
Halibut or something.
pikes.
Pike, yeah.
But somewhere in there, they would go barracuda fishing too.
Really?
Pretty sure it was there in Canada. But do you know why mercury is so bad?
Well, I mean, it's poison.
I know, but like why? What's it do? Do you know?
I believe it's neurological. It's a neurotoxin of some sort.
Okay. Isn't it also considered maybe like a heavy metal type where it doesn't leave your body?
Yeah.
Like it builds up.
Definitely it does, because that's what it does, like in
Right.
those barracudas and stuff.
And I don't know how to flush it. Probably cilantro and chakra alignment or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah.
Some Jose Cuervo.
Is that the cure?
That's how you get it out of your bloodstream.
There's a story that Chris Ryan tells on his podcast, Dr. Chris Ryan, about I think he was in Alaska with a group of people, and I think they were paddling and maybe hiking around for a few days, and they caught some sockeye.
Mm-hmm.
Sockeye salmon, and so they chopped it up and they threw it on the campfire, and they cooked it or whatever. They thought they cooked it, and half the people are eating it, half the people haven't got to eat it yet. You know, they're going to, but they just haven't got around to it. And they realize it's just stock full of freaking worms.
Ugh.
Like bad worms. So
that'd be rough.
So there's one guy who's been just chowing down. He just goes, shit, grabs a bottle of vodka and just starts chugging to hopefully try to kill
all those worms off.
Yeah, he ended up in the hospital for like several months. Like it was a bad deal.
Alcohol poisoning or the worms?
The worms. Yeah, the worms.
Wow.
Yeah, the alcohol did not work. But yeah, I always think about that.
What a glutton.
Couldn't
wait a little bit to find out about the worms. He just had to eat it all. That would have been me.
Well, it's at night, you know, and you're having a good time.
Yeah.
I would have been eating it too. You know, I remember when we were kids, you know, me, Casey, Wes, and Brad would camp out next to the pond in front of the house. And I remember how many times we'd catch a bass, literally throw the whole thing on the fire, and then just start to peel it away. And it, you know, that white, it was really delicious. And we felt like we
used
were
to do
cavemen.
stuff like that all the time. But, and one time I did that with a squirrel. I put it on the grill. And, you know, I mean, this is when I was young. And, man, I took a bite out of that thing, and it was so raw. Super
and, you know,
raw.
squirrels, rabbits, they all kind of maybe carry a parasite or something.
Oh,
depending on what time of year, right?
Yeah, definitely. If it's in the summer, which this was,
yeah.
See, they're definitely going to have worms.
Dad and I one time were running after turkeys, and on the way to pursuing this turkey or whatever, shit, get it over with. And there was on the way there was a rabbit. He's like, go ahead, shoot it. I'm like, all right. So I shoot it. It's probably a 30-yard shot or something. I was proud of myself. We go and get it, and then we're like, well, we're going to eat it. And then I told Dylan Whitmire about it, and he's like, I would not eat that. I'm like, wait, why? And he goes into the parasite talk or whatever.
And the big scary thing
So I
with
did not eat
rabbits, summer rabbits, is tularemia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, rabbit fever.
Can you die?
Yes.
Oh. Well, I didn't eat it.
You can get that just from touching a rabbit
Oh,
carcass.
wow, really?
Well,
a carcass.
Yeah, that's a big thing with falconers.
Oh, because they're tagging them.
Yeah, with people that are hunting rabbits and
Yeah.
stuff, obviously.
Oh, that's crazy.
Kenny he's in one of his moods. My cat's in a mood right now.
He's like, where's my mic? I want to be a part of this.
needy.
I have something to say.
Yeah, he is.
These people don't feed me. They don't touch
Do
me.
nothing. Should I
mean-
go get him and put him in the room so that he stops?
I think he's okay. I mean, if he gets worse, we can.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just don't want him to distract your listeners.
One more squirrel story because it involves your brother and my brother. I was at work one time and I got off when I was working at Buffalo Grill. They put me on the breakfast shift sometimes, which sucked, and I'll tell you why. Because people, when they go, and I'm included in this, so I'm not shaming anyone. It's just reality. But when you go to a breakfast joint, how many drinks do you order?
I don't usually order
Not
alcoholic.
No, just liquid.
Usually 2.
Okay, so that's the minimum. Usually people were ordering like 3 or 4.
Really?
Oh yeah, they'd go, give me coffee, give me water. That's the 2 that everybody would always get. And then they'd be like, give me coffee, water, orange juice, chocolate milk.
Yeah.
So if you had 3 people, I mean, I had a tray. It sucks so bad. Anyway, so I got off working at Buffalo Grill, and I came home, and Sam was over at the house they're just chowing down on some like soup thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you guys eating? Like, squirrel stew. I guess all morning they had been out with their 22s smoking squirrels. Chopped them all up, tossed them in a crock pot, and then made squirrel stew.
Oh, heck yeah. And I mean, I've eaten squirrel multiple times.
No, it's good. It's good white. It's like chicken, you know, without white meat.
I think it's kind of beefy. It's kind of like, I've always thought it's very similar to like roast beef, like when you cook it down. 'Cause it's kind of stringy. You know what I mean? You know how roast
I think
beef,
I've eaten different squirrels than you.
Maybe.
My squirrels are like I always remember white meat, really thick.
Really?
Yeah, my squirrels are eating creatine and lifting logs out there in the woods. If you don't kill them, they kill you.
You've only got that. Those are your two choices.
Casey and I had a third brother, but he got
he got killed by a large red squirrel.
We never forget him. Bartholomew. No. We don't talk about him. No, you know, I love eating wild game. I love pursuing wild game. You know, this spring, you and I went out and looked for a bunch of mushrooms, and unsuccessful. We only
foiled pretty much.
Yeah, we only went one time. It was a lot drier than it is now. Even, you know.
Oh, I know.
We've had a lot of good rain.
That's the issue
actually.
around here is that, like, when it's the perfect time of year as far as temperature goes,
right?
Most of the time we're not. Well, it seems like we're always in a drought around here for the most part.
At least the past few years, it's been pretty rough.
Been rough.
But I love that aspect of living in this area, that you can forage and do some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of deer hunters, almost too many, and almost, you know, I love deer hunting and I'll do it for the rest of my life. But it has kind of become like a commodity almost. You know, people putting out salt licks and corn, and it's like the reason why I like to hunt deer is because it's pure meat. You know, they're out there eating acorns and roots and stuff.
So baiting is legal in
it depends.
Kansas, right?
It depends on what state you're in. I don't know. I don't hunt a lot in. Kansas. Yeah, you can.
That's what I think in Missouri that's illegal.
I think Oklahoma is the same way. You can't put out.
Yeah.
But God, some of the people that I see on their game cams, it's just a literal mountain of corn.
Smorgasbord.
A mountain of corn, and it's like, what's the difference? Yeah. You know, what's the difference? That's why I've had elk before from a buddy. My buddy called me and his freezer was going out, which was like the greatest thing ever for me.
Yeah.
Because he's like, come get this meat. So he had black bear, he had elk, he had all kinds of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was great. But there was something to say about the black bear and the elk, particularly. He had moose and stuff too, but it literally gave me a jolt of energy in a way that deer used to. I grew up on deer.
Yeah.
And anymore. And, you know, not that meat doesn't give me energy or whatever, but I just don't feel like it's the same. They're out there eating the soybean in the soybean fields. They're out there eating corn.
All these people have soiled the deer.
They've soiled the deer. Got to go, well, anymore. And also CWD is such a big deal. We don't have it here.
That freaks me out.
Oh, man, and it should. That's a creepy thing.
At Durfeld's, we buried, when I used to work at the funeral home, we buried at least one person that's what she died from, believe it.
Really?
I'm dead serious.
Wow. Dead serious.
No pun intended.
Right. We don't have it here that much, you know. I'm sure there's a case every now and then, but it's mostly in Colorado. But
Wyoming has it bad.
Or in Wyoming. It only takes one, and
it's all it takes.
Yeah. I know they say that it's never been passed to a human.
Yeah, I don't know how else people are getting it.
I think there's different types. So like the sheep one, the Creutzfeldt Jacobs, that one is...
Now, I thought Creutzfeldt Jacobs was... I thought it was scabies. And I'm almost positive. I'm serious.
Okay.
In sheep, it's...
Scabies?
Scabies.
Okay.
Or something like that. I'm almost positive that's the name.
I remember we had a scabies outbreak in Riverton Riverton Elementary.
Yeah. It's...
We burned everybody.
No, maybe that's not it. It's something... I know that the sheep has a certain name, and then in deers, it's chronic wasting disease. In humans, it's Creutzfeldt Jacobs.
Yeah.
And then I think there's even a couple of other ones. It's like, it's what is the thing that causes it? It's not an amoeba. It's a
protein. It's a prion.
Prion. That's it.
It's an improper protein or something. and then the protein, because it's misshapen, folds incorrectly, and so it eats your brain pretty much. That's how the prions kill the deer. Is it just makes these giant holes in your brain.
And they pass it though; it's all in them and
it can stay in the
pass
ground.
it when they through waste. It goes into the soil, and then another, like a pronghorn, comes along and eats that grass that grew up in that. Then it's got that prion in it.
It's a pretty big deal.
It's not
like
good.
I said, I don't think it's ever been proven, and I don't know if they say this to not make anyone panic, but it's never been proven to be passed to humans. But I know humans do struggle. There are prion diseases that kill humans for sure.
Look up what it's called in sheep real quick. We got to know.
I'm sure it's Crutchfield Jacobs.
No, what is the name? It's got another name.
What? Should I just type in
What?
sheep prion disease?
Yeah. Is
Scrappy.
Scrappy. I knew it was not. Okay, so
not
not
scabies. Scabies is like
Scrappy.
on the
Yeah.
skin, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a
scabies
mite
is,
or something. It's
Yeah,
a
that
prion
was
disease in
re-
sheep that has been present in sheep populations for almost 300 years.
Yeah.
Interesting. And all these prion diseases, they seem to start with farming of the animal and
overpopulation.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and feeding back of the animal.
I was gonna say
byproducts.
Yeah, I was gonna say improper farming.
Mm-hmm.
If it's which deer and everything, a lot of that's the game. They're building up the game populations, or those like the ranches in Texas that have giant fucking 200 plus
with
inch
all the deer on them. Yeah. Well, and that's what. But I think they have kind of linked it to, anyway, in bovines, to feeding back.
Yeah, parts of the
A bovine,
Right.
Probably brain matter and
Yes.
stuff's going to be in some of that. And but yeah, and what is so crazy about that is it's host specific.
right.
Those prions are host specific,
Which
so
is good. For
yeah,
us.
yeah, it is a good thing. But that's why it's such a mystery how we end up getting it. But
Well, they
anyway,
think it cannibalism, right?
yeah.
For humans.
Well, I'm sure, yeah. But what I think, so let's say, you had one of those deer ranches. If you put a bunch of cattle out there, they wouldn't get it.
Right.
Even if that soil was full, if they tested for, the chronic wasting disease that's specific to deer, you could put a bunch of cattle out there and nothing would happen to them.
Right.
And so that's, I don't know where, because I almost feel like it's got to come. I wonder if it's like if you, shoot a deer in the spine and somehow spinal core or spinal matter or like brain matter gets into and touches the meat and soils the meat.
Yeah.
And then you eat that, and that deer was infected with chronic wasting.
Could be. I mean, mussels also have nerves and stuff, so I don't know if they're in that. It is a very strange feeling, or at least it was for me, when I cut the deer's back when I was cleaning one time, and I just saw just this stream of clear fluid come out, and it's kind of thick. It's
spinal fluid.
Yeah, and it just sprayed. It didn't touch the meat or anything, but it like trickled down. But there was this moment like it's
important
That's
stuff.
it. Yeah, that's the stuff that made this thing move.
Yeah, it's wild.
It was wild.
It's wild.
Yeah. Hopefully people can get a hold of it, or we can figure it out.
Eradicate.
I'm sure we can. I mean, AI, as crazy it is, I saw something on Instagram the other day that said that AI translated these super old, this will get us straight in aliens, super old cuneiform tablets that these people have dedicated their whole life to figuring out how to read it, and AI looked at it and was like, this is what it says.
I can figure that out.
Yeah, and now they know, which was amazing.
I don't know if anything interesting.
I don't know. I think there was a whole bunch of it, and now the people have to kind of comb through it and whatnot, and maybe the AI wasn't completely correct.
Yeah, and how do you know? It's so smart. How do you know that it's actually translating it correctly?
I think
not into something that it wants to translate.
That's a great question. I'm sure they're double checking and making sure, because I think they were making some progress. I think they kind of knew that this meant that, and this meant that. And then the AI came in and kind of filled in a lot of the gaps. So that's probably what they're doing now, is making sure that this AI is not being malicious and
That's what's so crazy, you know, because if it's smart enough to do that, then why could it not be smart enough to get an idea of its own, and lie?
Oh, I'm sure some of them are.
Manipulate.
Oh, I'm sure some of them are. Well, okay, and this jumps into the chat GTP, I forget what they call those language models. I forget, there's like a name for them. But when they would somebody typed in, write a poem about President Biden, and it writes a poem, and then you say, write a poem about former President Trump, and it's like, I will not condone hate speech or whatever, or something like that. It's like, what in the world? They're still programmed by people. So they're
and you know who's programming them now.
You right there, you know who's programming them. It's very difficult because you want them to be neutral, but they
have
humans,
to be good, to be truly usable.
Right.
They have to be neutral.
But it's a problem. It's something that needs to be fixed. But they are super powerful. I don't know. I've been using ChatGTP much more than I have Google lately. Like when Casey and I went to Chicago, I typed in, tell me the best places to get deep dish pizza. And it came up with these places. And the cool thing about it was it didn't just spit out, go here. It said this place cooks their pizza this way.
This is the reason why you should
Exactly.
go here.
They're like, this place is famous because they burn their crust on purpose. And some people like that.
Wow.
This place is great because it's been around since 1842 or whatever. It was awesome. And so I've been using it a lot more. In fact, last night when I was laying in bed, Kelsey and I were laying in bed, both of us on our laptops, I typed in, can you give me some ideas for jiu-jitsu themed YouTube videos? Dude, in 1 second, I had 40 ideas. And most of them I kind of knew. It was like breaking down a technique. I'm like, I kind of figured that. But there were a couple of them that popped up. I was like, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea, and I'll take that.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm pretty ignorant on it still. I haven't let myself be pulled into that yet.
It's super powerful. It's also, you kind of need to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Because it can't just do everything, which is unfortunate because a lot of people have interpreted it that way, particularly the people that Kelsey's works with. They think that AI can just do everything. So there's always this joke that Kelsey and I...
They don't have to do any work anymore.
They laugh
That's
at
what they think.
Well, it's like, hey, Kels, can you design this thing or whatever? And she's like, yeah, okay, it's going to take X amount of time. Oh, that's a lot of time. Why don't you use some AI?
Yeah.
AI is a tool. Yes, it's a tool. It's like Photoshop. It's like all this other stuff. It doesn't just make things.
No.
It's very powerful, and it absolutely help you and enhance your abilities. It's not the be-all, end-all. It might be.
Eventually
it might be. There was a great TikTok the other day I saw. This guy's like, hurry up and take my job, please. I hate my job. I want the AI to take my job.
Come on.
Right, everyone's worried about AI taking our jobs.
Sooner the better.
It's like, let's get on with it.
Yeah. Maybe we could just hang out.
No joke. Trevor posted a while back something about, the AI writing poems and making pictures. And the humans doing all the dirty work, or like, the making burgers and bullshit jobs.
It's taking the manual labor.
Manual labor. It's supposed to be reversed. The machines are supposed to be doing the manual labor.
Yeah.
And the humans are supposed to be enjoying themselves, and writing poetry and busying themselves with the continuation of the species, as they say.
Enjoying ourselves.
That's
what I would like to get to. Well, that kind of segues us into something that I think is interesting.
Oh, what's that?
I can't remember. Oh, well, I can't remember. Well, I think we did talk about it. The free energy thing.
Oh, yeah.
That I was watching about. And there's this guy, Dr. David Greer, man. And I don't know that I agree with everything that he talks about, but, man, there's just so much stock, it seems like, behind what he's saying about, that there's been free energy possibly... if we want to go that far back and get really
Tesla?
weird, since maybe
pyramids.
Pyramids.
You're going back to Egypt.
Since the pyramids, and it continues to be hidden.
Yeah.
Because it's not profitable.
Right.
But yeah, definitely Tesla. Tesla had that huge, I can't remember what it was called,
Tesla
but that
coil.
the tower though,
Yeah.
he had that tower out
I think
there.
it was a Tesla coil.
Was that the Tesla coil?
I think it was a giant Tesla coil.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, and then the documentary, oh gosh, what was the name of
Did
that
you
movie?
watch his documentary?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
I did watch
Because
it.
he mentions it several times.
Yeah.
And I was going to watch it as well.
It's pretty wild, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is pretty wild. I think that there's just with everything that's in the news right now, I mean, at this point, I think if you don't believe that something is going on and that we've been duped somewhere along the line, then I don't know how to converse with you hardly.
You're not paying attention.
Yeah,
You're
that's
not paying
the thing.
attention.
I mean, and I do think, sadly, a lot of people just take everything, or a lot of what we, how we go through our every day-to-day life. You know, they just take it totally for granted. They're not wanting to dig into anything. And a lot of these topics aren't, they don't make you cool. They'll get you
mean
ridiculed.
you're not the most
and that's
popular
what I mean. I
barber
would like to
talking about
think that I'm
aliens?
pretty open-minded. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty open-minded with stuff. But then even I hear things that I'm like, man, that's too weird for me. That's too out there. But the idea of, well, I mean, we've seen it with there's been 2 people now, I think, so far that have created the cars that run on water.
That get killed.
Yeah, and then they die instantly.
That's the ones.
Like afterwards.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just kind of makes me think, like, how stupid do they think we are? You know what I mean? If
Pretty stupid.
yeah, and I mean,
Unfortunately, look at COVID.
we are. I mean,
Look
a
at
lot. Yeah,
Take your
definitely.
booster shot.
Yeah, we definitely don't resist being fed the narrative very hard.
Well, we've been fed a narrative, and honestly, if that was the narrative, I would be quite happy. Like the 1950s, my grandparents lived a great life, and they were fed that narrative, and it worked out really well for them. And I think for a while, maybe that narrative was true.
Yeah,
But
I
somewhere
think
it shifted.
or at least the parts that weren't true, because I do think even then, I think they had free energy.
Oh, right, yeah.
But it didn't affect us.
Right.
The issue is that everything just, like right now, my insurance deal,
Yeah.
I mean, nothing works anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it not only does it not work, you have to pay an arm and a leg for it. Everything's so expensive. Just burdens are piling up,
Yes.
piling up. I mean, what do you think your great granddad's house cost?
Oh,
You know what I mean? And
nothing, a fraction compared
Yeah.
to what it is now.
And people are like, well, wages, they weren't, they didn't get paid nearly as much.
Yeah, but they
wages, but
they proved that with the Inflation Reduction or whatever, that people. I had again another TikTok, and maybe people are like, his head's full of TikToks or whatever. Well, it is, and I hope they're true because
I don't hardly watch TikTok.
This guy broke it down
out.
to where he was saying back in the day, adjusted for inflation, an entry level job, people were getting paid $120,000, and he goes, just kidding, they were getting paid $160,000. He goes, just kidding. A normal job, entry level job back in the day, they were getting paid $200,000 of today's money, and
Wow.
it was $20,000 or $30,000 back in the day.
Well, I think like when a
But
Corvette
inflation
came out, like when Corvettes came out, a nice Corvette, you could buy like a Corvette for like a couple grand.
It was still expensive, but it wasn't totally
a couple grand though,
totally unobtainable.
like maybe $5,000.
It was everything was based on a percentage of your salary. So like the house was 10% of your salary. Now it's 110% or way more than that.
Yeah.
200%
Oh, I know.
of your salary.
And I think another big problem is that we've become so reliant on stuff, and we're all worthless. A lot of us are worthless, myself included, like the stuff that, our grandparents can, I mean, if they needed to fix something, they could fix it. I can't fix shit.
But I wouldn't.
Hard. I mean, when it comes to that kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say that that's totally your fault, though. I think that the technology has gotten so.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The computers, sensors in the car and everything. Back in the day, if it was making a funny sound, you're like,
you tore it apart and
that's
figured out what was making that sound.
right, and then you fixed that and you went about your thing. Everything was mechanical, and so it couldn't be all these other things. Now it's like that sensor went out, and that sensor went out because of this thing, and that thing went out because
you
of
gotta
this
have
thing.
you got to have a computer system to even figure
And
out
only the
what's wrong.
dealerships and people like that have them and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And that's by design.
yeah. Well, I
It's
think
because it's to force you to spend money.
I think
on
it was a
those.
good design. It was like, this guy's going to specialize in fixing cars, so I don't have to. I can focus on falconry or whatever. He likes cars.
something that makes money.
Something that's fun, and makes money. And then it just got to the point where, as it always does, it gets corrupted and people take advantage of people. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, you need new tires. It's $5,000. Like, holy shit.
It really is. It's sad though, like how much of and in my opinion, this is not the way it's supposed to be. So much of our lives, pretty much all of our lives, revolve around trying to make more money.
Yeah. I saw a post on Instagram. I'm going to say that a lot. I saw a post on Instagram that this girl, it's just a meme, and the girl was driving home, and she's like got big watery eyes, and she's like, I just got off work so I can get home and sleep, get something to eat and go to sleep, and then do it all over again. And it made me physically ill.
Yeah.
Because I've done that before. Fortunately, I'm not in a place that does that, and I refuse to ever return.
Yeah, I'm in that place right now.
I will exit the simulation.
I'm still in that place.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have it nearly as bad as some people do.
Right.
But I mean, to me, I still feel like I have to struggle to be able to do the fun things that I do.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like to be able to fly the bird in the evening and do all of that.
And nothing you do, in my opinion, is extravagant.
No, it's not crazy.
That's what pisses me off, is that you are doing things that bring you joy that are not affecting anyone else. You're not like, you don't really need a lot of equipment to fly a bird or to garden or to do what you want to do. No. But because everything else is so demanding, it makes it to where
it's near impossible.
It's near impossible.
Gardening, that's a lot better, way to look at this than because it's not relatable. The falconry is not relatable to a lot of people. But yeah, just to go out and hoe your garden.
Yeah.
To be able to find the time to do that. It's difficult.
It is difficult.
It's crazy. And like with me, I hate it because it's almost like you got to choose. Like with me, I've got to choose almost my health.
Right.
Or to be able to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
Because to be able to work out and to be able to fly the birds and stuff.
Yeah.
That's real tough.
Right.
Then you got to cut out sleep.
Yeah.
Basically,
which doesn't go
you can't get a good, you can't sleep the recommended amount of time.
Right.
Because if you do, you won't be able to fit, the things that are important to you and you enjoy in around having to work.
Right.
And literally nothing I have is extravagant.
No.
My house is a modest, 3-bedroom house, nothing crazy. And I mean, I'm living what I would consider to be well within my means. I'm not always taking, crazy vacations or, I have a nice truck, but it's a 2016 Tacoma. It's not, it's just a good vehicle, a reliable vehicle.
But again, we go back to our grandparents and, the older generation, and a vehicle was no problem. It wasn't the cost of a house, which some of those cars are, mine's at least a solid down payment on a house.
The Ram TRX, they're like $100,000.
No, I mean, I don't
even,
even,
a little more maybe even.
I don't even want that. I want my time.
Well, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it really is. And it aggravates me.
Yeah.
I get really, really aggravated and that's the thing. And then, you're putting the money into retirement. Well, the chances of you ever getting to retirement.
It's not happening.
I mean, there's a good chance that it's not going to. And I mean, what they're doing is they're gambling on you dying and you're gambling on you living. And they've got science behind all of that.
Yeah.
they have chosen, they've chose those numbers because most people, a good amount of people never get to use that
Or
money.
they get to use a piece of it. They
2
retire
years, 3 years,
10 years even.
Yeah, even 10 years.
where they're making it stretch, and then they're like they kick the bucket. And
to work 60-something years only to actually really get to live out your dreams and everything. And I mean, I've got a terrible view of that because of, my dad. He was, working for retirement. He died before he ever even got close. And then my granddad, he got 2 years of retirement,
Yeah.
and he took early retirement. And those 2 years that he was on retirement, he was hooked up to an oxygen tank the whole time.
Right.
So he didn't get to enjoy it. He was dying the whole time he was
Yeah.
on retirement. So anyway, really heavy stuff. But I mean, it's terrible. We have got to change the way we do things, or I mean, people aren't going to be able to keep going on. And I know that a lot of people, if they listen to this, they'd be like, man, typical millennial.
That's what I was thinking.
Spoiled.
The TikToks, 2 millennials bitch about the economy.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's not it. I mean, it's the fact that I think that, don't get me wrong, I think hard work is good. I think the balance
absolutely.
is thrown way off.
Yeah.
Way off. I mean, and like I said, I'm a lucky person. I get to control my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I can, if I want to get off early someday, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't have that luxury.
No.
If you're working a factory job, you're there when they tell you to. You're going to work your whole shift, and you're going to go home, and like you said, you're going to get something to eat. You're going to go to bed, and then you're going to get up, and you're going to do it all over again.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, that is a terrible way to live.
I did that.
It's a waste.
Yeah, I did that at Red Oak for a season where Duke came up and said, "Do you want to move to full time?" Because I was working 2 days a week, and I made awesome money. I was living with mom and dad too, so
Yeah.
But it went a long way.
Stacking them greenbacks.
Yeah, I was just making enough to have fun, and I had 5 days off or whatever. I worked Friday, Saturday. Sunday, I watched football with Casey. I went to Pittsburgh, took him out to eat because I had cash. We watched football all day. That was great. And then I had Monday through Friday pretty much to do what I was wanting to do. I was making videos and having a good time. And then he asked me, "You want to go full time?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll try full time." I made the most money that I've ever made in my life consistently.
Yeah.
But literally was living that life of I got up and all of a sudden I'm back to the restaurant.
There's no satisfaction.
There was absolutely I couldn't do it. I did it for maybe 6 months, 8 months or something like that.
And everybody's different. I'm not saying if you're somebody that legitimately enjoys work and being and that is your hobby. There's people that's their hobby.
Yeah.
Work is their hobby. And
Some people don't mind it.
No,
and I wonder about those people.
Or they're obsessed with how much money can I get in the bank.
Those people need help. Those people need.
I'm definitely not one. I mean, it's what are your priorities? And to me, my priority is experiences.
Yeah.
And being able to enjoy life, being able to utilize my time for things that make me feel worthwhile.
Right.
And that there's meaning to all of this, and that I'm living a full life.
Well, we're all gonna die at some point. This ride ends
real quick.
Yeah,
dude,
pretty quick. And so if you're
about that,
spending your time at some factory or a restaurant, or I mean, even Kelsey working at the at the marketing most jobs. If you're just there for 90% of your time, you do not pursue.
Like, what are you even doing it for?
Why? What, you can't enjoy it? You're not pursuing, I love jiu-jitsu, and I think everybody should have some sort of physical hobby, right? Something that you train for a marathon, you're a weightlifter, you ride horses, something that's active. Everybody should have that. Again, this gets into the loop to where you don't have enough time in the day because you're at a fucking job that sucks the life out of you.
Yep.
And you don't have the funds to do it. So you have to choose. It's unfortunate.
It's a vicious cycle.
We live in a time with the most options, yet the most hurdles to those options.
Oh, 100%.
But the most access. But they're difficult to get to. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want right now if you got enough money.
If you have
That's
if you have the
thing.
cash, dude, I mean,
you got capital,
holy
sky
shit,
is the limit.
whatever you want to do.
Unfortunately, most of us don't.
Yeah.
You know,
It's skewed
it's
in
a
the
select
opposite.
few that are born into that kind of a lifestyle to where they get that. And I mean, and again, I mean, I have nothing to complain about. I, you know, had a great childhood. But, you know, I mean, what I'm talking about is like rich people, you know what I mean? I'm talking about those people that, you know, they can do whatever they want.
Oh,
basically,
yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a rare person to have that option. But, I mean, the sad thing is there's nothing me and you can do.
I disagree.
Oh.
That's the only choice that we have is to do something. I think that's where you have to dig down and find something creative. That's why I try to do the podcast. I try to do the videos, the YouTube and whatnot. Is it a pipe dream? Fuck, maybe it is, you know. But what's the alternative? I give up and go work at KMT or something. No offense to anyone that works at KMT. It's probably a great job. And I hope you're very happy. It's the first thing that popped in my head because we're in Baxter Springs, Kansas right now. But you play the game, and I'm willing to play the game.
Yeah.
Because there's no other option. Because I'm married, I love my wife. If Kelsey wasn't so great, it would be easier for me to hate life. And be like, this sucks, my wife sucks, my life sucks, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to go to the Amazon and hunt fish in the water and swim with the anacondas and take
I'm
ayahuasca.
in the same position, yeah.
But I'm like, dang, my wife is awesome. I'd like to get her a nice house. I'd like to start a family with her, you know? So I play the game. For instance, you're talking about retirement earlier. Dude, I've yanked our retirement 4 times.
Yeah.
Because and maybe that's going to be a, you know, swift kick to my nuts when 2060 rolls around. I'm not blowing it on Pokemon cards and everything, not all of it, but
some.
right. Oh shit, Pokemon cards hold better value than my retirement. But, you know, taking it, we use some of that retirement to buy the duplex that we own now. So that's, you know, generating some cash flow. So I just think that you just got to play the game as best you can. And if that's doing things unorthodox, not having a retirement, people look at me sometimes like, what? You don't have a retirement? It's like, not a traditional IRA type thing, you know? Like,
well, I mean, in the way you do life, though, the way you do life, you don't have to wait for that retirement. You know what I mean? You get to do the things that you enjoy right now.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it would, like I said, you know, the whole moving out of the studio was partially due to financial burden. And so it's kind of like, yes, I do things that I like to do. I try to set my life up. But unfortunately, there is always this, in the back of my mind, there's always this little nag of like, you need to make more money. Like,
I know.
That's
what I'm talking about.
You don't have a good enough house.
And that brings me back to the free energy deal.
Yeah.
Dude, if
be a
that
way
was
out.
to go down, it'd be amazing. I mean, see you later electric bill. So, you know, I mean, they're, you know, putting your car would just, and I mean, it's so deep, and anybody that wants to know more about it, you know, you can go and listen to Dr. Greer's stuff. It's super interesting, though. Like, and I am convinced 100% that we've had that kind of knowledge for years and years and years. But it's just that. It's free energy.
Yeah.
And, you know, Exxon and
Shell and
all those what was that one? Just so many big, even Wall Street names and stuff.
Well, the big ones were the Lockheed Martin, and
Lockheed
Raytheon,
Martin,
and the big, you know, aerospace defense is what they
I mean,
categorize those as.
All the guys. I mean, if I was making a bunch of money off, you know,
well, and not only just making a bunch of money,
Stuff.
it's consistent. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
every month. Everybody's got to pay.
Everybody's got to have it.
Everybody's got to have it. They got to pay it every month. Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, and so they don't want to forgo that, even if it could absolutely alter the planet in an unbelievably positive way.
It's the same with electric cars. You know, they resisted electric cars for so long.
And electric cars are terrible too.
What do you mean?
Because of the batteries, all the
mining and
stuff, all the mining it takes, and those batteries are tons of pollution with
Yeah.
all the batteries and stuff when they go out and everything, where all the batteries go, which I'm not really that kind of a person, but I do feel this way about that. I mean, we in the recent years, they've been coming up with stuff like that and dancing around it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Dancing around. But that's not truly free energy. Even a battery is not truly free
Right.
energy. You need something, and how this free energy device would work is basically it has the ability to harness the energy that atoms everywhere around us right now in the air are creating, the vibration energy, kinetic energy that those atoms are putting off. This thing's able to direct that energy into
Capture
something. Yeah. So literally, I mean, you would just have one of these, and I mean, they're small.
Yeah.
I mean, they've found them, and that's like, I mean, people come up with these. They figure it out.
Right.
And then they get killed.
Or they get bought out.
They get bought out. Yeah, all these different things. And I mean, like he talks about in that documentary, they're too afraid to share it. They don't want to share it. It's that, it's like, hey, I've got this secret. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody else to know about it.
Right.
And, but literally, I mean, some of these people that he's found are running full functional farms.
Oh, right.
And he's seen it in person. That
Yeah.
They're running these farms off of this box that's literally this big. So literally, you would just, have one of these. There'd be one in your vehicle somewhere. There'd be one in your, little bitty tiny one in your Apple Watch. Mm-hmm. So that it's just, that's completely free energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Where a battery, it's not completely free.
You got to recharge it. And
you have to recharge it.
It has to have a source.
You have to mine the, whatever's in
Cobalt.
it. And all that stuff.
Lithium.
Lithium.
Yeah.
You gotta get all that stuff, and, but I mean, that's not, I don't think that the electric car thing is what's, bringing the world to an end necessarily. I think it's the massive amount of emissions that we create.
Yeah. For
Massive,
sure.
like unbelievable. You can't even wrap your mind around
The amount of carbon. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen the videos of the carbon?
No,
Dude, they are disturbing.
I'm sure.
And it's crazy how much is in the northern hemisphere, because China and the United States are both, and India are both, all.
China's the top, though, isn't it?
I mean, I don't, maybe by a smudge.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Well, we're all terrible.
At least the video didn't look that great. I mean, America was pushing out some heavy carbon fumes, it seemed like.
And that's what I think, if this is all true, which, like I said, I really do believe that it is, man, if we ever find that out, especially if it's too late.
Yeah. Oh.
Gosh,
The
what a
riots.
devastating thing to know that greed and stupidity allowed us to get to that point to where it was the end. And it could have been, something we could have totally been avoidable.
That would be bad. Unfortunately, that
I'm sure
might
people think
be
I'm crazy by now.
Well, no. I mean, part of me definitely thinks that the free energy is a reaction to the frustration of life. It's something that you think about and you think, man, if we had that, this whole thing wouldn't be so hard.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I understand that, and I hope it's true, and I hope it happens. I would love for that to happen in our lifetimes. And you've said this before, that something big is coming, dude. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
You have a writer's strike right now in Hollywood. You have an actor's strike. They're both on strike with the big studios. UPS is on strike. There's another one. Is it the trains? I don't know. There's another.
Well, the world's collapsing in on itself.
The world is collapsing in on itself at a very alarming rate, but it's like necessary. It's almost, this has to occur for the system to format itself and bring about something new. Mm-hmm. Now, that is the key. That is what scares me the most. Is this will collapse? It's collapsing.
Will this sacrifice be for anything?
It will. Yeah, it will.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
That's what's scary. That.
Well, in that sense, then I would start to go in the direction of you have to focus on what is true and focus on what is good and lovely and beautiful, and you focus on your wife and spending time with her.
Yeah.
You focus on your health, you focus on your brother, you focus on good food that you have here, you focus on the sun touching you when you wake up in the morning and it hits your skin and it's warm.
Well, I think we're thinking about different collapses.
Well, I'm talking about an entire
economic collapse.
Yeah, global economic collapse. It's happening.
Well,
I've been telling you this with Bitcoin for years.
I go way further than just money. This isn't a money issue.
No, it starts with money because once
blowing up.
Well, it's probably will happen first with the money though. I don't know if you've ever seen Rick and Morty, but there's a hilarious part where he's at the Intergalactic Federation and his grandkids are like, "What are you going to do? How are you going to take it down?" Morty goes, "Are you going to take the nukes from every country and set them off and pinpoint them and blow everybody up?" And then I think Summer says something about maybe releasing a computer virus that blows everything up. And he goes, "Nope, I'm going to take down the Intergalactic Federation by changing a 1 to a 0. So he makes the money mute. It's worth nothing.
Yeah.
And so the next scene is the intergalactic president. And this guy comes in and goes, "Hey, someone just changed the domination from 1 to 0. Like, our money is worthless." And the president's like, "What are you talking about?" And everyone starts arguing. And he goes, "Good, gentlemen, there is a logical explanation for this." Blows his head off. And everyone's like, "Who is paying me to do this? Nobody is paying me to tell the president. No one is telling me." I think the president says, "Go out and fight the angry mob of people because they just lost all their savings." And the guy's like, "Who's paying me to fight the angry mob?"
Yeah.
And so it just completely collapses. And that's absolutely what's happening amongst the world. Now, Colin Crossland would say different. And I appreciate Mr. Crossland because he has a unique perspective on all of this. He likes Peter Zazen, Peter Zazen is a guy who thinks that we're about to enter into one of the greatest economic revolutions, booms of our generation.
Well, it could be.
Because of the COVID. So COVID kind of cleared things out. We saw where, we were we couldn't even make vaccines in our own country. We can't make microchips or whatever. Now we have a microchip plant in, I think it's Austin. I think there's another one in Nevada maybe. So we're going to start being able to make our own semiconductors, which is huge. We're not, reliant on China. And he also says that, you're looking for cheap labor. We've been relying on cheap labor from China. Mexico's even cheaper and they work better because it's closer. So anyway, his whole perspective is that we're actually going to be entering into like an economic boom, and the United States is going to lead that.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know though. I think that for things to get better, we're going to have people in power that want better for us, and I don't think we have that.
I don't think so either. That would definitely help if we had people in power that. I think we're going to have to flip the monopoly board over.
Exactly.
I really do.
And that's why I kind of love you, Colin. But I think that it's going to have to. I think we're on a sinking ship that's going under fast.
I don't know if you delete the debt. I don't know how to do that because, I
don't think there's any plan for it. You just got to watch it all burn and then start from the bottom.
Oh man, I hope not, because we do have a lot of good things. We have a society that is somewhat safe. It's somewhat efficient. You got a grocery store in walkable distance here. They keep getting food. People keep showing up to. I
know. I think those are the things though that I'm talking about with the kind of collapse that I'm talking about. And we're edging. Things are not as safe as they used to be.
Yeah.
If we keep like all these crazy droughts and stuff, food's not going to be as readily available.
Right.
Things like that is what I'm talking about. And I think that most of the people that I'm listening to, when they say 15, 20 years, they're talking 15, 20 years to extinction.
That would be like a dream come true on one level, because Casey and I all our lives been like, how are we going to survive Armageddon? We're thinking about it. I'm sure a lot of people do that. Maybe.
It was 120 degrees in Italy the other day.
I know.
That's wild.
That's not good.
No,
that's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think there's and me and you, we talk about this all the time. And as far as aliens, or whatever they are, I do think, because we just had the guy come out. I mean, we're being spoon-fed little bits.
For
little
sure.
bitty bits. We're being conditioned for something that's coming, I believe. Something is getting ready to be unveiled. What that is, I don't know for sure. But they're normalizing talk of UAPs.
What's a UAP?
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Oh.
They're not calling them UFOs anymore.
Oh, it's a new one. Because UFOs got too much stigma on it.
Yeah. It's a UAP.
UAP is clean.
Yeah. That's fresh.
If you say UAP,
that's fresh.
You're not crazy. You say UFO,
yeah.
you're batshit.
Yeah. You're a nut. But
I saw a UAP.
Yeah. No, oh, no way. Me too.
Yeah. I saw a UFO.
Yeah. What?
Come get this guy.
Yeah. No, but I really do think that we're, little by little, we're being given these little tokens.
Yeah.
So that whenever they're like, check this thing out.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be closer to that than they are right now. And I mean, we had that with the Tic Tac, the Navy ship that the U.S. government came out and they were like, yeah, we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And then just recently, like within the last 2 or 3 weeks, we had David Grush come out. And you heard about David Grush, didn't you? The whistleblower guy that was like high up military intelligence and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came all out, and you can look up the interview. And I mean, he was like, yeah, we absolutely have exotic craft of non-human origin.
Yeah. Well,
that might not be verbatim, but it's pretty close to exactly what he said. I know exotic origin. And
there's a lot of weird alien stuff that has been released to the public, which I have not paid attention to at all.
You should be.
I don't know why, but
you should be. It's absolutely. I can't believe that people are not losing their minds over this.
That's what
We've just been told.
Yeah.
That there are alien spacecrafts,
and maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe that's what they, maybe they released it while France is absolutely going crazy. Or honestly, people are more focused on themselves than anything.
Exactly. Just like
you are, just like I am, to where. You want more free time. You want more money to live a better life.
But I want more free time to I'm big into. I really, really enjoy the research aspect of this.
Yeah.
And like listening to people that know what they're talking about. I like listening to people that are tackling it from a scientific perspective, not just talking about weird stuff. I want to hear the nitty gritty. I want to hear the facts. I want to see the documents, all these different things, and there is a overwhelming amount of material out there that's available to people if they just want to look. So much material that there is no way that it can't.
But okay, this is exactly where I get with old Tyler Morton, because he's a big
he's big into
alien guy, and it's just like, well, what if they are real? Like, what if they are here? Then what? Like, how does that affect you?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's anything like that. I don't know how it will affect us. That's what's crazy. We don't know how it will affect us. Hopefully they have those free energy devices.
Pass them out.
Yeah.
Hopefully they got some good
that's what I'm rooting for,
Hopefully they got some good space weed or something.
I mean, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. It's just the fact that something that's been being talked about and was think about how many like old sci-fi movies and stuff were centered around this thing that was basically, at that point especially, looked at as totally fiction.
Science fiction.
100% fiction. And now we're like, no. But I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
We've literally had this in our brains from basically the beginning of time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go back on cave walls and see ships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can see people have been seeing things in the sky and interacting, maybe not interacting with things. I mean, I tend to believe that was commonplace back in the day. But that's what I'm saying. It's just it's not about like how does it affect us.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that, you know, you have somebody like David Grush. I mean, a super intelligent dude.
Right.
Sterling credentials. You know, I mean, not some crazy kooky dude.
Yeah.
That is like, we have, and you know, they're like, well, how many? And he's like, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, I mean, I believe
they go all the way back to like the 30s and 40s.
Yeah. Yeah.
That we have.
I don't know how it affects me as far as like my day-to-day life.
It might not.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, have you ever looked into Roswell, the Roswell crash or anything?
No.
Dude, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, it's insane.
Yeah.
When you actually, Roswell was a huge cover-up. Huge cover-up. Go and check out. You got to go and check out what they actually found.
Remember that thing we were talking about with not enough time or energy? No. That Aliens is one of those where it's like, hey, they're cool. It's a deep... I mean, I did this in college when I came across the Zeitgeist documentary. Danny Hart, that's how I saw it. Danny Hart showed me. Danny Hart's like, you gotta watch this. And I'm like, okay. And when I watched it, just floored
Paradigm shift.
Oh, paradigm shift. I could not go to class and not think about this crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so deep into 9/11 to where it was like, that is a setup. We are being lied to. Holy shit. And it took me...
Probably so.
It took me a good while to get a hold of myself to be like, wait a minute, this is a never-ending... In fact, it was Adam Ayers who kind of pulled me out of it. And he told me that his dad, who was, he said, you know, smarter and, you know, I guess, just as intelligent, or if not more intelligent than Adam is, who I think Adam is maybe one of the most intelligent people I've ever come into contact with. His dad was like that.
Thanks a lot.
And he got eaten up by it. You are intelligent in your own ways.
Yeah, weird ways.
You're very gay. No, you have, you know, there are like multiple types of intelligences, and you definitely have several of them to a high degree. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's nice of you to say. I think the same of you. I think you're really intelligent.
Thank you. I try my best because Anyway, his dad got consumed by it. Like his whole life, he just spun up and aliens and 9/11 and all that kind of stuff. Like the conspiracies, because they never end. No. It's just a hole that goes down another level.
That's what I'm hoping that they do end before too long. There's some closure.
Well, some of them have, which is kind of maybe not good for the conspiracy theorist out there because you look at some of these and they're like, well, that was proven true. It's like, oh shit, some of these do have an ending. You know, some of these do have actually come out to be true. And then lately, the aliens have been one of those. You know.
Well, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, you say you don't have time, but I mean, dude, if this comes out and it is true, this is probably going to be the biggest thing that's ever happened on the face of the planet.
I would think it would be. I think it would be.
Certainly within our lifetimes or our parents' or our grandparents' lifetimes. Dude.
To live our whole lives, you know, with the question, you know, some people say aliens aren't real.
Is there anything else out there?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden for it to be like, no, here's the answer. It would be as big as if they said, here's how the pyramids were built.
Yes.
And this is what they did.
That might come along with it.
And this would... That'd be crazy, dude. I was walking into Walmart the other day just thinking, how the fuck did they build them things? What was going on? Why?
Is there so much that's what's so crazy. I mean, and like you sent me that video the other day, and there's people that think that just...
I did.
The guys in loincloths out there did all that.
I did for the longest time. Also, I've never seen them. I think seeing them would be like, holy shit.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I'd love to see them. Yeah, man, it's
wild.
It is a wild thing. But I always veer to the left. When the conspiracy theorists keep going, I veer and I say, I don't know. It doesn't affect me. And I only have so much energy in my life. I'm just going to focus on what I love.
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on what makes me happy. I'm going to focus on what's real because Casey is real. Kelsey is real. You're real. Aliens, maybe not. If they show up, they're real. You know, they'd be real to me then. And if they're trying to eat me or fuck me or whatever, teach me something, then okay, they're real. But I just go back to, I don't know. I just have one life. I have to focus. I can control my energy. I can control my focus sometimes. And that's what I have to focus on, is making sure that my energy flows to the correct places.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of these things are just energy consumers. And now you want to get crazy. They might be 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th dimensional things that feed off of mental quantum energy. And like,
that's why we're so strung out all the time.
because they're just
And they create it.
sucking in all your energy, and you give it away. People, you've been around people that are energy suckers.
Oh yeah.
And you go home and you're like, why am I so tired? I didn't do anything, but
sometimes I feel like
huh?
I'm kind of an energy sucker sometimes.
It's supposed to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Sometimes you give, sometimes you take, and
But
that's
there's some people that always take.
That's right. And you have to kind of know where you are in that, and you have to be around the right type of people that notice that. You know, there's
Right.
times where I've gone in to get a haircut and I've noticed Tucker needs energy. Like, he's having a rough day. He's just maybe having an off day.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. I mean, it might not be anything. It might just be a biological rhythm that you're just at the bottom of the cycle.
Yeah.
And you need some energy. So I try to notice that, and I try to tell you a funny story or something interesting I saw, and give you.
Oh, you always brighten my day.
Give you energy. Well, that's the thing, is that most people don't recognize that. They need to recognize that. You need to recognize it at the barista that's making your coffee. And you kind of see, man,
I see some sadness behind those eyes.
yeah. What's wrong, darling? You okay? I mean, what if you just said that? You okay?
Man, this
You
thing
doing
is
all right?
going absolutely nuts.
Oh no.
I can't get it to stop.
That's okay. I doubt it's. These are very directional. In fact, I was going to tell you to.
Oh yeah,
point that
get a little
sucker
bit
at you.
closer.
Yeah. I mean, if you just said that to just a random person, like, you doing okay? And not been like, hey, how you doing? Which means nothing. It just means, it's just noises.
Yeah,
To acknowledge.
literally.
But if you, you
Are you doing okay?
You locked eye. No, I'm saying, you okay?
You all right?
I feel a little sadness.
I love
you
you.
sad? And she goes, yeah, my cat died, last week or something. Like, man, I hate that. I lost a raccoon a couple of years ago, and I still tear up when I think about her. We just shared this energy. It's like some of her sadness came over, and some of my hope went into her.
Yeah.
And it was just, I'm just getting a coffee.
Yeah.
Now it
But
takes
you're
a
going to
lot-
help carry her throughout her day.
It's going to help at least shift her into
Yeah.
a different direction. She might still be sad, but maybe that helps her get back to a place where she's not consumed by it so much. Those are the things that drive me more than aliens and stuff like that. I like doing that on like Saturday night and diving in.
I didn't know that I was coming into a trap
It's
to
what-
made look dumb.
No, I'd love to talk about it. I just
kidding.
get to a point where I just like, I don't know, the meaning just evaporates.
Yeah.
It's like, this is super fun, but I'm still hungry.
Got to do some other stuff.
That's what Adam kind of what Adam taught me about the conspiracy theories. It's just blue balling you the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, you never get off.
Yeah.
You're just always at the edge. Are they real? Are they not? I don't know. A new document came out. Are they real? Are they not? Dude, this whistleblower showed up. Are they real? Are they not? We don't know. What I know is
Oh, I know.
you're here, and this is fun, and I hope you're doing good.
I know, Colt.
Yeah. You get it.
It's a matter of time.
I hope it is. I really hope it is. Because going back to our economic talk, I want it. And I don't think I'm alone in this.
We want more time.
I want this whole thing to implode.
Yeah, me too.
And I might regret that. It might implode.
Yeah, maybe.
It might implode and be like, wait a minute.
Man, this is no good. We had it way better than we thought we did.
I'll pay my water bill. I
Yeah.
swear. I swear.
Please.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
tough
I'm
to
just
tell.
a spoiled American
It's tough to
that
tell.
thinks that he needs more free time to play more video games.
That's
or something.
probably what it is. I'm going to get a call here in a minute. I know it.
A call about what?
Insurance.
Oh. Okay, well, you can take it and I keep talking.
Okay.
Oh, you gotta go to the bathroom?
I got to pee bad right now.
I'm sure these woods have been peed in before. Still one of my favorite stories.
that's a good
You might have to tell that story.
No.
It's one of the best, dude. It's one of the
I'll
best.
knock all your cameras down.
Oh, I'm stiff. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I don't even know what podcast this is. It's the first podcast in the new season. I call it new season of SciFi And Friends. maybe one of these days we'll get back to having a studio. I did really enjoy having that studio. It was very professional. It provided the setup and the teardown, how quick that is, or how quick it can be when you have a studio, because there is no setup and there is no teardown. You just flip the cameras on, you turn the mic on or whatever, and then you get to rolling. So coming in like this, I've had to adjust a little bit. Like I said, this is the first podcast that I've done with the Zoom, so I hope it turns out well. I did some recording on a vlog earlier this week with this setup, and it sounded really good on the vlog. So I think it's going to sound really well. And syncing it up with the cameras, it'll be fine. And it's just going to be a new way of doing this, because like I said, it's a new season. We got to try new things and see what works. And I'm hoping that these remote podcasts and these in-person ones where I actually go to them will work out good and elevate the show, elevate my hosting ability, and make a better product in the end, because I love doing this. And I hope you like listening. And I want to make money off this so I can do more of it.
Yeah.
And you're back. Oh.
So they can just have all kinds of free time.
This is a nice couch. Dude, free time is the number one value that I have. And that's why I think I really admire you. I think I really admire Ben DeBusk. Everybody that values their free time above, monetary gain.
Yeah.
I'm friends with. Because the guys that are chasing the monetary gain are they're at their corporate jobs, doing their thing.
Again, stuck in the matrix.
Stuck in the matrix. And I don't know. I would be okay even if we had the ability to live small and be efficient, But like you said, it's not even possible with mediocre stuff. Even mediocre stuff is almost
crazy
impossible.
Expensive.
Yeah, crazy and expensive to have. Let alone something, where I look at, I'm like, man, I'd love to have that. It's like,
nope.
You gotta sell your soul, bud. Or
Literally.
you literally have to have a parent die, or you
Yeah.
gotta have something crazy happen to get that.
Yep.
So yeah,
I know. It's a bummer.
have you been enjoying getting back into falconry?
I have.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
that's something cool.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing that
You got a
really.
special bird.
I do have a special bird right now. I'm really liking this one. Yeah, he's he is a peregrine he's a hybrid peregrine made up of 4 different subspecies. He's Fijian peregrine, Macropus peregrine, which Fiji is obviously like the Fiji Islands.
Oh wow.
Macropus is Australian peregrine. Whoa. And then he is tundra, he's Anatum and Peels are the other 2. So he's got 4 different subspecies. Wow. And the Anatum and the Peels are both from North America. Nice. The Peels is the largest peregrine subspecies in the world. It's from they're native to like the Aleutian Islands, up there, that little tail of islands that comes off of Alaska.
Oh, okay.
That's where they're native to. And then all the way down that western coast of Alaska into a little bit of Washington.
Oh, cool.
And,
What?
And Canada too.
Oh, you just
I was trying to think of.
You just totally unplugged for a second.
Yeah, and I was like, and then also, like
where,
Canada and stuff.
which one is the? They say that they just say peregrine falcon is like the fastest falcon in the world. Which subspecies is that?
It's all of them.
Oh, okay.
All of them
like
are
200
crazy.
miles an hour.
Yeah,
or something? Yeah.
242, I think, is their top speed. Super fast.
Yeah.
But that's basically like falling flight.
Because they just like torpedo.
Yeah,
up
they just come down like that. That's not like straight flight.
And they hit a bird at 200 miles an hour.
No,
they pull back.
Yeah, they're gonna. If they hit a bird at 242 miles an hour, they'd probably just
puff and
both of them would just explode.
Poof.
Yeah.
So they fall.
Yeah,
at 200,
and then
they what like.
Yeah, they kind of put the breakers on, but I mean they're still hitting stuff usually going like 150, 160 miles an hour.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they just ball up their feet and
the videos
punch
you've
it.
shown me, I mean they're
wild.
literally puffs of feathers.
Yeah, they knock
like,
feathers off, and like when you're actually out there in the field with them, it's audible. From way up, I mean they might be, they might be 200 feet up, and you can hear the, when they smack something, it sounds like a hitting some with a baseball bat. It's crazy.
And I bet 100 miles or 150.
Yeah, it's quite the whack.
Wow. Traditionally, falconry was just used for hunting.
Yeah, I mean, and also I think it's always had like traditionally there's a lot of significance to it. You know what I mean? Like if you go into like the 16th century with kings and knights and all those, the queens, there were designated birds that each person had. Like kings, I mean, they could obviously have whatever they want, but like the gerfalcon was the king's bird. And then knights and nobles, it's either knights or nobles had peregrines.
Okay.
That was their bird.
Like each one would have a bird?
Yeah.
Oh.
They were kind of like, if you were a peasant caught with a gerfalcon, you were going to get killed.
Oh.
It was like punishable by death.
Oh, wow.
And there's a whole book on that was written in that time. It's still one of the biggest books on falconry. And one of the kings, Frederick II of Hohenstaufen, was absolutely obsessed, and he wrote The Art of Falconry. It's a huge falconry treaty.
Where was he from?
Or treatise on it. So I believe he was Rome.
Oh, Italian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I believe. I'm almost positive.
Yeah. We wish I had a Jamie to pull it up.
I know, right? Jamie, can you look that up?
Who was that? Oh, yeah, he was Rome.
Yeah. That's what I tried to do with the
I know.
scabbies.
Scabies.
Scabbies, wasn't it?
Scrappy.
Scrappy.
Yeah. Like Scrappy Doo. Like the little
Scrappy.
Scooby-Doo dog. Like his little Scrappy.
Scrappy.
His name is Scrappy. Or that's how they describe a fighter. He's Scrappy. He's got a prion disease.
But no, it's pretty cool too. Like they've dug some Viking graves in like Iceland and stuff, and there will be gerfalcon remains.
Are they just doing it for fun though? Like the kings and stuff, they just go out to their...
I think it always has been a bit of sport.
Yeah.
Because if you do falconry very much, they generally most of the time they eat a lot more than they catch. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're having to feed that bird.
There was
a lot.
a YouTube video a while back. Maybe they just posted on YouTube. It was a documentary about a Mongolian, I think it was a girl, who had a big ass eagle. And I think she was traditionally like, this is how we hunt or whatever. Yeah,
and I mean, that could definitely be the case with a bird that size because, they could probably, especially with an eagle, catch 2 or 3 of them a day.
Yeah.
And even if it's just one, that eagle's not going to be able to eat that whole fox.
Yeah.
Even if it eats a quarter of it. Yeah. That's what they traditionally hunt in Mongolia, in Kazakhstan, and all those places.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan anymore.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now, I've never eaten fox. I don't think I ever will, but
you would if you were out there.
Well, if I was really hungry.
I don't think there's much out there on the Mongolian steeps.
Yeah,
Steps.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a very unique. I know no one else that does it. I knew no one else before, or I knew no one. How do you say that? I knew no one ever. I knew no one before you.
Yeah, Elbow did that.
That did it before you. I don't know anyone that does it now. I know Preston. You mentored him for 2 years or something.
Yeah.
And now he at least has a pretty good grasp. I don't know if he actually actively practices.
Well, Preston's busy with lots of things in life. He's got a child.
Yeah, that'll definitely...
That'll make you busy.
Yeah, that will.
It'll make you real busy.
Well, I mean, how many hours a week do you think it takes to do the falconry?
I mean...
Like, what are your top responsibilities with this bird?
Well, you have to feed it every day.
Yeah.
In the evenings, I feed him. It ebbs and flows throughout the process, In the beginning, like right when you get a fresh bird, there's a lot of work that has to be put in because you're laying your groundwork and your foundation for the rest of you and that bird's relationship in the first, week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Just they're so important. I mean, you really have to put in time with the bird, manning, you know,
Sleep
get the bird,
with the bird, eat with
sleep
the
with the
bird.
bird, everything. Well, I mean, but I mean, that's kind of the thing about falconry that I think keeps it from the grasp of a lot of people is that it's so demanding.
Yeah.
You know, right when we get done here tonight, I've got to load everything up, and I drive about 30 minutes to where I go fly
Right.
every evening, and I put the bird up, and right now he's in the drone training process, and so basically he's flying up to a drone and grabbing bait off the bottom of the drone that gets released. So, you know, I mean, that's just it's time consuming,
Yeah.
you know, and then
Heavily time consuming.
yeah, and then I mean, and that only takes, you know, I'm only out there for 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It's real fast.
Wow.
Real fast, that part. But then once this is over and you've done the rest of your training and you're actually out hunting and pursuing game,
Right.
that's when, you know, I mean, you might drive around for an hour before you find something that you're like, okay, I want to put him
Go
up
out.
on that,
Yeah.
you know. And you
Birds.
mark some dove or something like that out in the field.
Rabbits.
Not with him, just birds.
Oh, okay.
Just birds with the falcons. Well, especially peregrines. There are some that they hunt, you know, jackrabbits and stuff. Falcon, you know. But yeah, with him it'll be doves and, you know, things like that. Around here mostly dove. I'll probably go down to Arkansas and fly snipe with him.
That'd be cool.
Because a lot of my buddies do that. But basically, yeah, you might drive around an hour, 2 hours before you find that group of doves that's sitting on some lines. You drive by them, bump them into the field. They go out and land.
Oh, yeah.
And that's called marking, you know, and you're going to mark them in that field, and you just got to keep it real good. Because when that bird comes up or goes up above them, it's not just as simple as going out there in that field and they just
Pop them off.
yeah. They do not want to get up off that ground.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they'll run around on the ground to avoid having to get up.
Right.
So you really have to have a good idea of exactly where they're at, and that's why, you know, and some people utilize a dog for that too, a flushing dog like a Cocker Spaniel or something like that can definitely help go out there and flush stuff up off the ground.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Exotic animal people are so weird.
Yes, they are.
I was just thinking about bird people.
Yeah,
I haven't met very many bird people, but I can imagine
they're weird.
They have to be. It's just
You know.
the
I don't
amount
know.
of
There's a
time-
lot of I think that like parrots and stuff, you run into more people that are even a little bit more eccentric than
parrots
parrots and things
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
Like, and I'm talking big parrots like macaws
Yeah.
and cockatoos.
Right.
Because man,
what do you do with them?
you don't do anything with them really.
They
other
just
than
hang
they
out.
just hang out, and they are so loud. That's what and I had an umbrella cockatoo, and I just couldn't do it.
Too
couldn't
loud.
do it, man. Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Just drive you insane.
Yeah.
And I know not all of them are that way, but they're all noisy.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about the birds of prey. Unless you get an imprint, some of the imprints that you raise from a baby, you know, they'll vocalize at you. But like this bird, he's never made a noise.
Really?
Never.
And that's good?
Yeah, that's what you want. You want them to
Okay.
be completely silent.
Okay.
Because, you know, there's no reason for them to make noise. Really, you know, especially with a bird of prey, they're still highly intelligent. I think they're more intelligent than a lot of people give them credit for.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not the same as a parrot. They aren't a social creature.
Right.
So they don't communicate
Right.
in the sense of like a parrot would in a group. Now they do have, you know, courtship sounds
Yeah.
and things like that, but it's not a day-to-day basis
Right.
talking,
They're
more
not.
or less, you know, to their, you know, fellow flock members and
Right.
stuff like that.
Because there is no flock.
No, they're solitary birds. And the only other reason that you'll have is begging, food begging. And that's where, from an imprint standpoint, you can run into that. Sometimes it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
But, you know, most falconers that imprint birds are doing everything they can possibly do to stay away from that, because I'm telling you, if they are vocal,
Just once it starts, it's just
you
very...
can't shut it off.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really it's near impossible to get it to completely to make it stop. Some birds, will stop in their third or fourth, second, third, or fourth season. They'll finally just be like, oh, I don't need to do this anymore.
I'm gonna get fed.
Yeah, but some birds that do it forever.
That's not good.
We have a little starling, a pet starling. You've seen it, haven't you?
You have it now?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't. Well, maybe Haley put it on her story or something.
Yeah, probably. But he's that way. He's pretty noisy.
Yeah.
Because he was, right. He's an imprint.
Yeah.
And but the positive with the imprint, well, sometimes it's a positive, is that they don't have fear.
Right.
Like this
with you.
Yeah. There's no fear, which there are a lot of positives to that, but there are some negatives too. You know, I mean, one of those being food begging, because not only do they not have fear of you, they think that you're the parent, and then when they become sexually mature, they're going to start viewing you as a mate more than likely.
Wow.
So usually what it does is it goes from parent to sibling.
Huh.
They view you as kind of a sibling.
Ooh, that might be like.
And then to mate.
Might actually. I like where this is going.
I know.
Like, do they challenge you at sibling?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah, that would be not good.
Yeah, and that's why most people don't imprint eagles.
Oh.
And stuff, because there is aggressive tendencies with imprints sometimes, especially with accipiters. Imprint accipiters like goshawks, Cooper's hawks, and Sharpies. But no, the whole thing where they, when they sexually mature and they start viewing you as a mate, it's really, I know it's weird, but it's super cool too, because that's how he was made. Where, a lot of these birds that are hybrids are not two birds that you could put in with each other, because they'd kill each other.
Oh, I see.
So they wouldn't mate under regular circumstances. Right. So them viewing you as a mate will make the male donate to you, and then it'll make the female stand so that you can, it's artificial insemination.
Oh, I see. But it allows for that process to actually occur.
Yeah, a lot more. I mean, there's always a way. When there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you don't have a male that just donates, then you have to strip them, which is not a pleasant experience for the bird. You know what I mean? So
never stripped a bird.
No, I haven't either.
That's good.
But, I mean, if you've got an imprint, then more than likely they'll donate. So it makes it easier. It makes just the whole process way easier.
Again, very strange. Like, people would have to be
very, very
really deep into this kind of stuff to be stripping birds and.
Well, I know some people that about 2 years ago they sold a Gyrfalcon to the UE for $1,750,000. You'd go and strip a bird for that, wouldn't you?
I'll strip right now.
Sign me up. You're like, I'd strip multiple birds.
I know people talk about that kind of. Yeah, all right, I'll strip a whole family. I know they talk about that. People will talk about platinum pythons. How they,
it's all the same kind of thing.
It just seems like you got to work a long time to get to that point. Like,
yeah.
You can make a lot of money, but you got to get there first.
Well, and with the falcons, the issue is it's so much. There's so much sacrifice that goes in to that point, and money, tons of money.
Right, they just broke even. They sold it for 1.7.
Yeah. I doubt they even broke even.
Oh man.
It was the people I used to work for.
Oh, yeah. Play the voicemail. It's my favorite.
Yeah. But, yeah, they definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
How's your hood making business going?
Kind of a lull right now. I haven't been making a ton. I've got some new blocks coming, though. Yeah. That are going to be really awesome.
I feel like you could really corner the market. I don't feel like there's a lot of people out there making hoods.
There's not. Yeah, I mean... Could be. I've just kind of been taking a break from it a little bit right now and kind of resetting. I got so in and I had so many different strings that I was following. Yeah. Sometimes that can be a bad thing. Yeah, you need to focus in and rein it in. I had all these different hood blocks and this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. I was just like, we need to focus this in.
Yeah. Yeah. I did the same thing with jiu-jitsu a while back. Just thinking about every technique I could train, and it's just like I got so overwhelmed.
It gets overwhelming eventually.
Went back to the fundamentals, like what do I know? What do I not know? What am I working on?
Yeah.
That's enough. That's plenty for right now.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. Like, I mean, and that's spot on. I mean, because, you know, I was so stuck on pattern work with the hoods for a long time, making the best pattern stuff that I've got so many patterns in there that I don't even know which ones are good anymore, which ones aren't, you know. Because then I'll follow this other string, and then I'll come back to this, and I'll be like, which one of these is the right one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, screw it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and I've come to the realization also that, you know, I mean, my strong point is not pattern work. It's just not. I'm not great at making the patterns for them, and you just got to be able to realize that and
accept it. Focus on, well, what would your strength be?
Probably just construction.
Putting it together.
Yeah, construction and, you know, making a really high quality hood.
Nice.
You know, I like to think anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, everybody's just not going to be innovative, and I'm not really that innovative when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, sometimes you're not deep enough, you know.
Well, and that could be it too.
You think about
maybe I'll be able to tackle that in another 10 years.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think about jiu-jitsu, and it's like people are making up moves.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how
I know,
in the
right?
world are you making up moves?
Well, and I'm
but
lucky.
They're also 20 years ahead of
you. And they probably had great mentors.
Right.
And that's what I've got now is, you know, I've got some really great mentors
How
that
did
I'm
you
working
find
with.
them?
Well, I mean, it's funny enough. I mean, most of them, because I've been doing this since I was like 16, you know, making hoods. And I mean, back then I didn't have a clue what I was doing at all. But they, you know, that's a good thing about like, you know, Facebook, Instagram, all these things. Because these were people that I like idolized, you know, hood makers that I was like, wow, if I could ever make a hood like that, that would be just amazing. You know, and I can remember thinking, man, I just wish so bad I could ask them how they do that right there. You know, how do you do that? And now I get to talk to them all the time.
You just sent them a message and said,
I talk to them on the phone all the time.
Well, I mean, like,
how
you met them or started the conversation. Just say, I'm Tucker Taylor.
Yeah.
I have a bird. I've been making hoods.
Well, you know, a lot of times, you know, I just tell them, you know, what I just told you, you know, that I've been loving their work since I was 16. And, you know, I just wanted to say, and you just go on from there, you know. And I mean, I've been really lucky to create some awesome friendships with some amazing hood makers. That's
awesome.
And, you know, people, a lot of them are quite a bit older than me and have, you know, lots of knowledge to share. And, you know, but that's the thing. You can't just go in and be like, hey, let me have one of your patterns.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's not how it works. You got to, you know, you have to.
Yeah, for sure.
They got to see that you want it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That you want to be good and that you're willing to put the work in and
give it to just anybody.
No, like if you've been making hoods for 6 months and then you contact somebody like that and be like, hey, so, you know, I feel like everything's going good, but you think I could get your pattern?
Yeah.
So that I can make a hood like yours?
Right.
Not going to happen. I mean, and now I see it. I mean, those guys have bled over these things. You know what I mean? It takes a long time. And one of my good buddies, I mean, he's made 2 block sets, you know, and those are just the ones that he's commercialized.
Oh, no telling how many he has in the vault.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that didn't work out, the ones that were, man, these are close, but you know, that's not quite it.
Yeah,
you know. So sorry, I keep yawning.
I know, I'm so boring.
Gosh.
This couch is very comfortable.
It is comfy, and man, I slept on here all day yesterday.
I love couch. I love sleeping on the couch.
Me too. Yeah, I slept right here, for hours yesterday.
Nice.
I know. I just
Sunday
laid down.
The best times to take a nap.
Yeah, I laid down. That was a mistake because boom, out I went. But yeah, I'm super fortunate, you know, to be able to, you know, converse and be entrusted with some of that knowledge and stuff like that. That's definitely really, you know, put me ahead of the game, being able to talk to those guys. And then, you know, maybe eventually I'll be able to, you know,
rework some of that knowledge and come up with some stuff of my own.
Yeah, I mean, if you keep going, you will. I mean, there's just,
I don't see me ever stopping at this point.
that's how things evolve. Is that
I've got too much in.
the people? Yeah, there's things I have like
too
that
deep.
There's things I have that as well, where something new and exciting will come along. It's like I'm just too deep.
Too deep
this.
over here.
And if I pull out, I don't even have the option to pull out.
Yeah,
like I'm just that far into it.
Yeah.
As far as videos and making movies and stuff, it's like, nope,
You
that's
can't.
just it. That's me. That's as far as I'm way down here, guys. You're not gonna get me out.
Totally.
Yeah.
What are you doing tonight?
What am I doing tonight? I'm gonna go work out. Go work
I was
out.
going to tell you should come with me.
Have dinner with the wife. What?
I was
Oh,
gonna-
fly the bird. Fine. One of these days. I
don't
was gonna
want
go
to.
that one time,
Yeah, I know.
and you didn't pick me up.
That was hilarious, dude. I meant to text you because I could tell you didn't really want to. And
Well, it was just busy, but
yeah.
I was like, yeah, you said it was 30 minutes or something. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
it didn't
I
take
can
long at
do
all.
that.
But
And I was ready. I was sitting out
I
on
know.
the porch. I'm like, I'm gonna go do something. He'll be here soon or whatever. And then it's like, then it's dark. I'm like, oh shit, he never showed up.
That's so funny. Yeah, I totally forgot to call you
That's all right.
and tell you.
That you didn't go.
No, Haley went with me.
Haley went with you.
Yeah, she
Oh,
got
yeah.
home early.
Hoes before bros.
Yeah. She knows how. She's got the rundown pretty good.
Yeah,
she definitely
I saw her
helps me
post
out
some
there.
videos of you guys out there.
Yeah, and she lands the drone for me.
Nice.
Does all
yeah,
that
she's better
stuff.
company than me, so that's good.
No, I wish you'd go with me tonight.
One of these days, probably not tonight, but
Wow.
probably not tonight. My wife's called me several times, but yeah, one of the things that I'm lacking in my life, and this has hit me pretty hard lately, is just like thinking about where I am, what's going on, what needs to happen. I don't have any mentors, and I always chalk it up to like where we live. Like we just don't have an industry for what I want to do, but also there's too much technology to not be able to reach out to someone and say, hey. I just don't know how to put it all together. The puzzle just does not work out for me. For some reason, like I can make videos and I can do podcasts and I can do all this stuff, but I just can't make it. Like I can't get it to fucking go for some reason. So,
I know. Well, it's tough.
it is tough.
It's the same thing with all that. I would love to get something going with that, but it's just hard to.
Yeah.
And it seems like everybody that talks to you, they're like, well, you just need to do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable for me, though. Definitely gives me something to keep me, preoccupied and,
Well, as chaotic as you are, and as much as you jump around, it's been impressive that that has stayed.
all
for
these years,
all these
man.
years.
All these years. That's what I say. That's my constant.
I think that's what happens to guys like us or people like us is that
Things come and go, but that one thing.
well, there's like a handful of things that just start to settle over time.
Right.
Like stuff comes flying in, flies out, but then there's this thing that stays.
You
And
just
then,
can't get away from it.
well, barbering is another thing. Like you're really good at it. You're 13 years deep.
I promise you, the only reason I'm doing that is the money.
Well, and fucking videos for me too. Like I have a shoot tomorrow, filming bed sheets.
Oh,
I definitely don't want to film.
no,
these
that
bed
doesn't
sheets.
sound like something.
But it's going to give me money, and it's just one of those things where it is a passion, but also it does pay the bills.
Where are you doing that at?
Somewhere in Pittsburgh, I believe,
The sheet store.
and just someone's house that lets us shoot it in it. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. People, you go and you go to someone's nice house. You're like, hey, can we film a commercial here? You get to you can keep the sheets and all this kind of stuff. That happens a lot.
how funny!
Yeah, but
Why didn't you, pick
Barber,
my house?
Barber. Kelsey's actually telling me a story about that where one of the interns sent in a picture of her bedroom. Like, we can use my bedroom. And Kelsey looked at it and she's like,
Ain't gonna work.
I don't mean to be offensive.
Oh
but-
yeah, you kind of backed me into a corner here where I
Right.
have to be.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I remember I told her a story right after this when I was on 90210 as a background actor. I became buddies with one of the PAs, and he was really cool. And one time the director's like, go get me talking to the PA guy, go get me somebody for a hand model. So he's like, oh, okay. So he comes and gets me, and I'm like, hell yeah! Like I'm gonna get paid more.
You got awesome hands.
I'm gonna make. Oh, I didn't. He's like, come here. Let's. Shows me the hands. I show my hands to the director. He goes, wow. Nope.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I mean, at first I'm
Nope.
like offended. You're like, what's wrong with my hands? But as I got into the industry, I get it. It's nothing against me. He's looking for a certain He's looking for a certain thing, and too manly.
If he would have seen these hands, he would have been like,
yes.
Dear
Dear God, what are those?
Yeah,
those are beautiful. It's just part of what it is. But I don't know. I think that's part of maturing, and I think that's part of becoming a man. Is just finding those things that define you.
definitely.
Some people have more than others, and some people have less. You know, some people only golf. That's what they do. It's what they love. God bless their soul.
Oh man.
But
Sometimes I envy people like that, though. We've talked about that. They just have. Oh no, that was me and my other buddy. That's a Falconer, Josh Poole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We envy the people that are just like, I'm just gonna go out and golf today.
talk about an expensive hobby.
Oh, I know, but so low maintenance. You know what I mean? Like as far as compared to something like this, you know, you can put them away for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
if
the
you
golf
want to
clubs
and not
aren't
touch
demanding
them.
you to take care of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, but
I don't think the reward's the same though. There's probably something deeply rewarding about taking care of a bird and having that, like I said, the connection.
Oh, dude,
with
I
them.
love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Well, that's why I can't get away from it. I've tried,
Yeah,
and I mean, I just love.
I can't quit you.
I can't. I just can't, man.
You know that reference? You're gay.
No, what is that?
Brokeback Mountain. I can't quit you.
I can't quit you.
No, it's something that, you know, unless you have done it and experienced it, you probably just can't
You
comprehend
can't understand it.
You could probably get close to like, oh, you love your dog, you love your pet dog, like you like taking him to the dog park or whatever. Well, it's like that times 100.
Well, I mean, there's
It's
so
like
many.
an extension of your body, you know.
Yeah.
You're flying this bird, and you're like,
You kind of live vicariously through this little
Yeah.
gladiator. That's what I've always said. Well,
What?
and there's
What?
like you kind of live vicariously through this little gladiator that you've
little
trained,
gladiator.
you know.
Yeah.
And but what's really, I think, what's great about it, because we all, we all want satisfaction,
Right.
and there's so many things about it that are satisfying along the way.
Yeah.
And the accomplishments, there's all these like when you're playing a video game, you won this level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing. It's just for me, I require real life.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with one of these birds, I mean, because this bird's a chamber raised, but I mean he was still, he was very calm, but like when you're taking a like a bird out of the wild, the first thing is your first goal is, wow, it's eating on my fist.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? It's not just totally ballistic, freaked out about me. It's eating on my fist, So you got that. And then, it hopped in my glove.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It trusts me enough to come off of its perch and hop to my glove. And then, it's flying 50 feet to the lure across the yard. And you're like, yes, And then you're like, you put the drone out there and he flew the drone, bam. And then you're like, so we got that done. He likes the drone. You put it up 10 more feet, boom, he goes to it,
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, we better make sure he can, let him kill a pigeon, so that we can make sure that if anything ever goes bad, we can always get him back if we've got a pigeon,
Right.
And then, it's fun because after that, at that point when they're on the drone, then the biggie, you cut them off the training line, and they're free. Mm-hmm. They're free, so there's nothing you can do at this point. You just got to trust them, and you let them fly to that drone, get the bait, you go down, and then after that, it's just so cool because even though they're just flying to the drone at this point, you're getting to actually see this bird become a bird again, and you get to see it fly right there. This is what you've been waiting for.
Right.
And then, and it's going to 1,000 feet up to that drone, to get the bait or all these different things. And then, when you're done with that, the ultimate is, that first head of game. It's come down this time of training and driving to the training field and doing all this. It's all come together. It's all, it's all made worthwhile when, they are successful in the field. And then It's not over there though. It keeps developing, and they, over the course of the next, if you're lucky enough to fly them for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, they get better and better and better. Sometimes they get so good, they don't go up very high because they know they don't need to. And so that's that's kind of a game you got to play. You got to, instead of just flushing something right out from under them, well, they're not going up very high anymore, I'm going to flush it over here when they're out of position, to make them work harder for it and possibly miss it, which will make them go up higher.
Interesting.
Because it's working off the kill cone ratio. So, the higher they are, the bigger their kill cone. If they're down here, it gets smaller. The higher they go, they can get to more areas. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah. They can monitor a larger area the higher they are.
Yeah, so if something, instead of flushing right underneath them, gets up 500-600 yards away, it has that, it has a gain on them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so there's a chance of not being able to get it. Well, if they don't get it that next time, they're going to be like, I better go up a little higher. So if something, so you got to keep it challenging for them to an extent.
I did not know that.
So that they don't get spoiled.
Right. So they don't get fat.
Yeah.
Flying
Lazy.
Around. That's really cool. I mean, the progression of anything is definitely, addictive might be too strong of a word, but it is. It's close to it.
Oh yeah.
People really like progress.
I'm definitely addicted to
Why
this.
do you think martial arts have belt colors?
Because you want to get to that next level.
And when you get it, you feel great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Now I'm going to work on the next
That's
one.
everything in life.
I think that's what makes it worth it, is to focus on the progress and not, the times in my life when I've been truly upset, it's because I've focused on the wrong sort of progress. I've been 10 steps ahead. I've been impatient. I want to be up there. It's like, you're here.
No, you got to stay where you are.
You got to stay right here. Focus on what's going on here. You need to work on this little thing. Jiu-jitsu has taught me that more than anything, just because I've progressed so far in that. I'm only a blue belt, but I personally have progressed so far.
Yeah, that's a long ways from.
I mean, there's purple belts, black belts, brown belts, all these other things out there. But for me personally, it's just like there's been so many lessons from day one white belt to 2-stripe blue belt where I am now. And they've been, the best part about it, that it's been so applicable to other places in my life. Just thinking about, on my way over here, I was thinking about my writing and how it's just so intimidating because I want to be a good writer so bad. Above anything, I would just love to, see something.
Be able to write about it.
Just to see like a movie or a video game or something that everybody loves, and they go, man, the writing was so good, or oh dude, Colton Cypher's
I did that.
The lead writer on this, like it's gonna be great.
Well, we all want to be good at it.
Of course. But to be able to look at and say, well, don't worry about that. What you need to worry about, don't worry about being good. Where are you? What do you need to work on? And work on that now, so that over time you do get good. You can make those that progression. And I was thinking about jiu-jitsu, like, have your takedowns gotten better? Yeah, my takedowns have gotten better. 6 months ago, my takedowns were dog shit and terrible, and I'd have to go over and over again and shoot for a single leg or try for a double or do a snap
Now you
down.
get them every time.
I don't get them every time, but I'm a lot more fluid. I'm a lot more like, this is how my body's supposed to work, rather than the first few times where it was an absolute just, and nothing happened.
Right.
And now it's like, okay, I kind of know. I go down, I grab the leg. Okay, I got that. Okay. Did it work? No. But the execution was pretty nice. And so there's progress being made there. And then that progress gives me the dopamine. The loop starts again. More progress, dopamine. Maybe I hit a single, or I actually finish a screenplay, and I feel proud about it because it's like, hey, it's better than what you were doing 6 months ago.
Right.
Progress is being made. I mean, above all, if you're making progress, I can weather a lot of stress and a lot of crap.
Yeah, me too.
If I'm making progress in an area of my life that I value.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that's why people need that. People need something to make progress in.
Oh yeah.
If you're just going to work every day and not doing anything, unless you're making progress at work, there are people that like to climb the corporate ladder, or they have a goal of getting promoted. That's progress, and I'll give it to you if that's what you want to focus on. Then hell yeah. But a lot of times you either can't get promoted, you're just as high as you can go, or you don't want to get promoted, or you come home and you just lazily watch Netflix and eat dinner, and it's like you're not pushing yourself. You're not really tapping into what you actually have.
Yeah, what makes you tick.
And what makes you tick. You know, you're not finding out what's out there and what could be if you were to put the time and sacrifice in.
Yeah.
Talk about podcasts, dude. I mean, my first I don't know how many podcasts, you know, I remember listening to them in my bedroom alone, thinking, you've just interrupted Casey for the 5th time. Whatever he was talking about was awesome. And as a listener, I really wanted to know what he was talking about. And you totally cut him off with a dumb joke. It was so sucked. That was a big one, dude. I wasn't listening for the first, I don't know, 20 podcasts. I could just tell that I was.
You're like, wait a minute.
Well, you know, and I'm not giving myself an excuse, but a lot of it was, you know, I'm focusing on the equipment. Is that working? I'm just a one-man dude. You know, I'm trying to do all this stuff. But as time has gone on and I've gotten better at this, I can focus on what people are saying.
Right.
Actually have a conversation. Again, it's the progress within the chosen, you know, pursuit that you've chosen. And I love it. I love making progress.
Yeah.
No
You
matter how small
gotta
it is,
go
man.
in though. You know, if you really want to get good at something, it's very hard to do it just a little bit.
No, you can do it as a hobby. That's fine. But you're going to be in the kid pool forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to get out in the deep end.
Mm-hmm. Like if I wanted to do, you know, like flying a red tail's a lot more lax.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Well, you can just go out on the weekends. I mean, like you said, it's going to always just be a hobby at that point. But you know, you can make it work.
Yeah.
But with these, it's every day.
Yeah.
Every day you can.
Yeah. And that makes you better to do it every day versus just here and there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's going to make you a lot better.
you're like, oh, I'd do this different tomorrow, and then you go and make that change the next day.
Exactly. There's so much input coming in. You can make your adjustments so much quicker that you're going to make
Super
your
fast.
progress so much faster.
Yeah. Or you can rack it all up and mess it up real bad, real fast.
Yeah, it can go in either way. It can go in either direction.
You can fast track it both those ways for sure.
Yeah, so the moral of the story is find something that makes you tick.
Yeah, something you love.
Dive
I think
in.
it's very, very important.
And I don't know how much you have this with the falconry, but one thing that this year I focused on a lot is community amongst the thing that you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, well, it makes a huge difference.
I think it's maybe one of, if not the most important part of whatever you're doing. Because jiu-jitsu for the longest time was like, I'm going to go, I'm going to learn my shit, I'm going to get out. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I'm missing a really big part of this. And it's like,
now you got buddies.
The camaraderie that you have with these people. And
it's a brotherhood.
Yeah, it's a brotherhood. You get to see, particularly with jiu-jitsu, you get to see certain people overcome certain things. I just went to a tournament on Saturday and got to watch 3 of my friends compete, and it was so cool because they each had their own challenge, you know.
Yeah.
And they either overcame or they lost, but then it was like an internal, like, what are you going to do now?
Right.
You didn't perform, but how are you going to react? You know, are you going to give up? You're going to keep going? What's going to go on?
You going to cry?
You're going to cry? There's no crying in jiu-jitsu. But there's such a that is such a important part of it, and there's so much value in human relationships that I'm sure people.
It makes all the difference.
I think people already know this. It's just hard for me because maybe I grew up in the middle of nowhere. You know,
yeah, I was the same
Oklahoma,
way.
And so it's taken me a long time to be like, oh yeah, people are really cool, and they don't make things worse. They actually make things better a lot of the time. You know, there are people out there that aren't worth the time.
Yeah, it can make things worse. But
the guy, I remember driving up to jiu-jitsu a couple weeks ago, and I was like, man, I put out on Instagram and Snapchat and all these places all the time, like, come train, you can ride with me, come on, you'll love it, blah, blah, blah.
Nothing.
And nobody, you know, very rarely, some people will be like, I'd love to do it, but I'm busy, whatever, that's fine. And I just remember driving up thinking, like, everybody that's here is supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Everybody that shows up, like, that's my people.
Yeah.
Not these other
100%.
people that I'm begging to show up. It's like everybody here, they got in their car. They drove here just like me.
It's like me inviting you to fly, you know?
What? Are you offended that I've turned you down?
It's just funny because you're creating the exact scenario.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
I don't know what to say to that. I love you. I'm just busy tonight. That's
yeah,
it.
you just don't want to.
Guy.
I get it.
I wanted to go at one point.
What are you gonna
and you
cook?
didn't pick up.
You said you're gonna cook
Well,
dinner.
I'm on carnivore, so it'd be something meat. And I just went to Quapaw Mercantile the other day. They had bison tongue for like $5.
Can't beat it. That prices, I bet you better have got 2.
I bought them
least.
out. I bought everything they had. I was like, I'll take it all. I said, did you say $5? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I'll have it all. She's like, what are you gonna do with these? I'm like,
I'm gonna eat
feed them to
them.
my dogs. I'm like, I don't want to tell you what to do with them because then you'll buy them.
Yeah.
No, dude, you put them in a crock pot for about.
Where's that at?
It's in Quapaw. Like if you're driving through
That makes
Quapaw, the
sense.
main street. If you're going towards Miami, if you're going south, on the left-hand side, there's like this round logo that has like colors coming off of it, and it says Mercantile, and you can go in. They have really good prices on their beef and bison.
Really?
Like I'm gonna be going there more often. We just took a Longhorn in maybe a week ago, and so we'll have a
to
lot-
them?
to
Or no, to your butcher.
well, ironically, it's the Quapaw processing plant that we use. So we took on in there, and we'll be getting that meat back pretty quick. And I sell a lot of that. I buy it myself. Like I buy from myself.
Yeah.
And Longhorn's good and all, but like to have the bison cuts, like they have everything you can imagine off a bison, ribeye, brisket.
Really?
Yeah, all that kind of
How
stuff.
much is a ribeye from a bison usually?
Probably like that was a little bit more expensive and they're selling.
You're like, oh, the good cuts, they're expensive.
They are expensive, but they are not as expensive as the supermarket. So you have a prime cut aged bison 16-ounce ribeye for like $30 or something. I think you get 2 of them or something. So it's not. I mean, you got to lay some cash down, but you're going
Not bad,
to,
though.
You're going to no matter what.
Right.
So if you wanted to, but yeah, I really like that place. I forget it's there, and yeah. So I'll probably be cooking something. We had a bison skirt steak last night. So I tossed that on. Yeah, tossed that onto the grill on the Traeger. Kelsey made a amazing vegetable medley thing. I don't know. We just had Brussels sprouts and onions and
That's not carnivore.
bunch of stuff. I'm modified carnivore.
I'm
more,
you hear that, folks?
I'm more paleo than anything. Like just real food.
Well, it sounds great. Let me know, and I'll stop by
We can
on
do
my
it
way
again.
back from the
Sometimes they
flying
have.
field tonight.
Oh, for food. Is dinner ready?
You've already turned me down to go, and now you're gonna say that I can't come over.
We don't have enough for you.
Oh my gosh!
You and your bird. I mean, if it was just you,
No, I'll supply his
it'd be
food.
fine.
I'll supply-
No,
That's funny.
I gave Ranger some of the bison, and then he didn't eat it. I'm like, you son of a bitch. In the wild, this would be like gold to you.
Yeah, dogs would love that
He's
in the
like,
wild.
He's like, give me peanut butter. I like peanut butter.
Really?
He loves it, dude.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I get a big gob of peanut butter, and then I cut off like a tablespoon of butter, and I mix it into the peanut butter. I just try to get as much fat in there as I can for him. And then I squirt a little honey on top and just mix it all up.
He's
and
all about
he
it.
just licks and licks and licks until it's done.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
All right, I think you got to go fly a bird.
I do. Yep. It's 5:47.
All right, well,
Said I had till 6.
I appreciate you. 5:47, dude. It's perfect timing.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you having me in your house and
Dude,
letting me record.
I'm so glad you came over.
yeah, I'd like to.
You've literally been trying to get me on here for
A long time. I wanted you
probably
to come
2
in,
years.
I wanted you to come into the studio for the longest time,
I
but
know.
this is the new format. So
I like it.
yeah,
I think it could catch on, dude.
I think so too. I think more people will be more apt to do it because they'll feel more comfortable if I come to them. I'll be a little less comfortable because I don't have my thing, but it's fine. Like I was thinking, Colby, like on a Sunday or something. Like
Oh,
me
yeah,
and Colby
you
meet up
should.
at the butcher shop, the barber shop, and like I sit in a chair, he sits in a chair, I hold
Yeah.
the mic, he holds the mic. Like it'd be a cool background. Every time it's going to be a different look rather than the same. So who knows? There's a lot to be done, and I'm excited to get it going. I knew this week was going to be the first episode for the new season. So
Full of possibilities, man. Just endless possibilities.
create and just continue to create. You do it the best you can, but also you don't get caught up in perfectionism
No, definitely
because, like I said, no one listens to this anyway. It's just me.
Just
getting
me and
another
you
rep. That's
talking.
right, and it would have been no different.
not. Yeah.
I might have said some crazier stuff, if I didn't have a mic in front of my face. But for the most
For
the most
you
part,
definitely would have.
for the most part, it's pretty much the same.
We probably both would have. All
I
right,
might have been on
man.
that alien conversation a bit longer.
Yeah, I know. You wouldn't
gonna
want
watch that
people thinking you're crazy.
Too late. I'm gonna watch that documentary for sure, though.
You should.
Yeah,
You should.
I was gonna write it down and I forgot to. But.
All right,
buddy.
I love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. If you want to get a haircut or a beard trim or, whatever else he does at the barbershop, go to fortunebarbershop.com and click on Tucker Taylor's link, and you can get on the schedule. I know he's very busy. It's hard to get in sometimes, but if you're not desperately needing a haircut tomorrow, you probably get on the schedule and if you can plan it out, you can get, it probably takes, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month out, but hop on, you can get a haircut from old Tucker Taylor. Check him out on Instagram. His wife just started a Candids by Haley photography service that she's a really talented photographer. Go check that out if you'd like to get some photos taken of you and your significant other or your bird that's being stripped or any of that kind of stuff. Besides that, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Like I said, I said it a few times, this is the new format to where I'm going to be going to people and doing the remote podcast. I think tomorrow I have a remote podcast, so it'd be nice to have one of these remote studios and then doing one remote online per week would be awesome. So doing the best we can. I hope you're all doing great. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you all. Love you. Have a great week. Peace.
That's one small